Hi, Sparrows. Hello, Sparrows. Welcome to the room. Welcome to the room. I am Valerie Miller of TVM, the Valerie Miller Double Fold. This very moment, you have opportunity to change. So come on into the room. It is Matters of the Heart Monday, and it's going to be a great conversation tonight. Let's just go ahead and say it, a juicy conversation. We have a round two with Jabo Glen. He is the Texas Prince of Zydeco, which is blues music. It was such a great time the last time he was here. I felt it necessary to bring him back for a round two. So the thing is, it's a twist tonight. It seems that Facebook's made some changes with settings. Therefore, I'm unable to bring him on directly, right? I'm going to have to call him on the phone. So, yeah, it's going to be a video, audio situation. Nothing we can do about it. I've worked on it all afternoon. However, it's still going to be a juicy conversation. We're going to call him, get him on the phone. Just let me know if you're able to hear him, right? And of course, every week, the platform is surrounding How I Became Fabulous and a Lady All the Time, right? It's my book, okay? So we're just going to basically talk on relationships tonight. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to call Jabo, get him on the phone. I also feel like I'm in a cave with this time change. Oh my goodness, this time change. Everything is dark early, issues, one after another, right? Let me know if you can hear him once I get him in the room. Hey, Jab.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. Miss Miller.
I am great. I really would wish if I could have you alongside me. That would be helpful. However, that's not feasible tonight. I'm hearing some feedback though. Sparrows, please let me know. James, you're out there. Let me know if you hear any feedback, because I am getting it on this end.
Okay, what you?
I hear feedback. That's going to make for a terrible show. You can hear him, James? Is there a delay? Just let me know. Welcome to the room, Sparrows. It's going to be a little bit different tonight. For whatever reasons, Facebook has been making some changes with settings. It's unable to just bring Jabo on, unfortunately. The traditional way that you'd see him sitting alongside me, well, this way, because I'm using my laptop tonight. Unfortunate. However, the show must go on. One change doesn't stop anything as far as I'm concerned, you know? So as long as you can hear him, we're going to move forward. Jab.
Okay.
Can you hear me well? So I'm going to go ahead and jump in.
I hear feedback.
Mm-hmm. Could you turn your volume down?
My volume?
Yes.
Yes,
It's delayed. This isn't going to work. I just don't know what else to do at this point. It's not going to work. There's too much feedback. Please put those on and then see if you can put your phone on speaker after. Welcome to the room. Hi, Veronica Morris. Thank you so much for dropping in. It's going to be nutty tonight. Nothing that we can do. The one and only fabulous Facebook making changes. That's why I'm leaving. I'm going to start doing all of my shows through Facebook. You see, what is it? I can hear you, but there is echoing. Hi, Melissa. Welcome to the room. We're going to start momentarily. I just don't want to lose the momentum of people that we have because it's such a great show tonight. We're talking on relationships. It's something for every status that you may be in. And if there's inquiry, because you know what I did say if you didn't want to put any questions in status, you're more than welcome to call me in a different space, that 404 number that I put in the ad, right? So it's just difficult. My apologies. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. Unfortunately, they're not allowing us to share. They're not allowing us to bring any individuals on alongside us as of probably last week. I thought it was just a fluke. However, it's happening still. It's continual. So unfortunately, there wasn't time for Jabo and I to do a pre-record and just list it. But I'm here. He's here. We're going to make the best of it because we put the cast of net out there, right? You guys are here. We're going to go for it. Jabo, for all of the people who did not participate last time or missed your previous show, tell them something about you, where you come from. Of course, your blues. And blues is appropriate for all of the topics that we have set aside to tackle tonight. So give a glimpse in the window of who Jabo is. Can you hear me? Because you're live. They're waiting for your response, man.
Okay, I'm trying to get you in. I need to live in. Hold on. Okay. What they want to know? Okay, I'm just having problems hearing right now, but my name is Jabo, Texas Prince of Zydeco and Blues. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay, and my name is Jabo, the Texas Prince of Zydeco and Blues. I'm in the Houston, Texas area. I need to bring my box down some or what?
We hear you well. Continue on.
Okay, good. I really want to make this special interview because I know we have a lot of fun doing it and a lot of experience and a lot of things, truth to come from it. And okay. So, Ms. Miller.
This isn't working, Jab. You're getting interference. You're getting delayed responses from me. You've got so many people in the room just waiting to get some continual conversation. Do you have a TV on, something in the background? Because I'm hearing interference. It's delayed. Thank you so much, James. They can hear you. You're just going to have to get past the feedback and continue on with your conversation.
Okay, can you hear me a little better?
We hear you clearly.
Okay. Once again, I'm Jabo, Texas Person, Zydeco and Blues, about the Houston, Texas area. Okay, I'm trying to get it through. We got a feedback. I got delayed. Okay.
Yes, Pam Lyons is saying she can't hear. I'm hearing feedback. I hear myself double. I'm hearing you. I'm not sure if the Sparrows can hear at all, but I'm trying to position you. However, at the same time, is something causing that interference? I don't know what it is. Yes. There's nothing else we can do at this point. Do you have are you sitting next to your computer? You may need to walk away where it's just the phone call.
No, I'm not connected to anything right now.
Are you close by?
I'm not even on intercom. No, I'm not.
I don't know. I'm just going to have to just carry on with the show. We can't do this because it's too much.
My phone, I'm on two different phones, so.
You need to be on one phone because if that's the problem. You have a phone on and you are online. That's where the clash is. You need to be strictly on the phone. No internet connection.
Okay, let me check it. Okay. So look up here.
Okay, guys, is that better? I think so. That's it. You were having two different situations at the same time. So now, can you hear me clearly so we can carry on?
Okay. I cut the other phone all the way off.
There it is. We're perfect. Any comments you need,
good.
I will read them to you. Pam Lyons, can you hear now? Please give me a thumbs up. Let me know in comments so we can go on with this show. It's too much juice, Jabo. Let's go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everybody can hear?
Everybody can hear you clearly. Let's rock it out. You are Jabo, the Texas Prince of Zydeco. Let's talk about that. Who you are, blues, the situation tonight, all the topics that we are in line to talk about, the different phases of relationships. It doesn't matter if you're married, doesn't matter if you're divorced, doesn't matter if you're single, considering relationships. We are going to talk about it and the mental health of it all, because it's enough to drive you crazy. And there are some people that are a little bit, unfortunately, have some situations, and it's interfering in relationships because they're not sharing the information that there is some mental health situations going on. So what are your thoughts? You are the blues king here, the prince.
My thing is, in relationships, first of all, all relationships should be a togetherness. Yes. All relationships should have to stand on equal yoke. And in other words, to make they say a house that divided cannot stand. So first of all, we want to say that I want to start with domestic violence. That's something, because reason I put that out there now. Yes. It's because I've been getting a lot of calls, and also I like to encourage the women that's in domestic violence at this present time.
Right.
It's very critical to inform somebody that you are in that type of relationship, because you can't feel like it's going to get better, because True. It's not going to get better.
It's not going to get better. It will not. And it's unfortunate.
When you feel like it, first, in domestic violence, it's like a mind thing to people, so both parties. Right. That other person is like a manipulator. The one that's doing this is like a manipulator. I'm not gonna do this to you no more. I'm so sorry. I love you, and I'm so sorry. And it's like that other and the spouse wants to believe that. And at that time, she went through a very, a tragic moment at that time, Right. And when the first time it happened, you shouldn't give it a second time. You should try to find a way out of it, And that's the main thing right now. Domestic violence is high right now, and this is something that we need to focus on as well.
We definitely have to focus on that. I don't know about you when it comes to that. I just recall my dad saying to me, if a man looks like he's going to hit you, leave. He always said that. And look at it from this standpoint. I've never been in a position where domestic violence has come into play. Now, it's different ways of looking at domestic violence. If we're talking physical, I haven't been within a physical situation. Now, there have been individuals where there were verbal and sometimes emotional, if you allow those things. But, catching it when it begins is key. And one of the things I wrote about in the book, if those of you who have read it, if you've read this, then I have a one-strike policy. It's one strike. I'm out, because I value myself too much. And I know that there are so many people that we don't know until we start getting to know them. Different things pop up in the relationships that are forgiving. However, when it comes to emotional situations, physical situations, I can forgive it. However, I'm not staying. It's different for each person. But for me, it's work to just go, because I don't want to be a statistic in anything at any time. So that one strike policy is real, because it just goes back to who you are, how much you value yourself. You can be forgiving, but let's not be to the point to where you forgive something that gives him or her, because there are some women as well that are very domestically abusive, you know? So you have to look at it for what it is, Jab. Now, what are you thinking along that line?
Right now, I love to see the gentlemen in the building. I love to see the gentlemen that's in the building to make comments.
They're
and
here.
Mr. James Cardwell, he made a great comment there. He said a relationship is not healthy if you have a major problem.
Oh,
you know, and that's true. First of all, you have to acknowledge a person. That they have a problem. You know what I'm saying? I mean, first of all, you're living with a problem person, a person that loves to drink, a person that's doing some awkward things that those signs let you know right there that you got that like Mr. James Caldwell saying, that's a problem. When a major problem, you cannot live in a relationship.
And it's different faces to mental health. Now, some people have it diagnosed, and then there are some who may not know that they have issues in that space. They may suspect it, but don't have it confirmed. And when I say that, just looking over, some research myself, just having conversations with different individuals and having worked with individuals who has had or continually have mental health situations, they don't share it with the people that they are now dating. That's a downside. It's something that should be shared on the front end, and not waiting for 6 months or until you have a flare up. And then it comes out, and then you're feeling abandoned because they have now left you when you could have had the opportunity to share it on the front end so they could have been prepared, making the decision. Is this something that I want to be intertwined in, or is this something I want to walk away from? You can't just take the rights of the other person, when you have an issue and you're not disclosing it. I mean, the truth of the matter is, depression is mental health. Pornography is mental health. Alcohol, mental health. Drugs, mental health. So it's different faces to it. So it's beyond domestic. In relationships, it shows up. So what do you say, hypothetically, if it was you met somebody, you really like her, and then you find out she has a mental health situation. However, she didn't tell you there was a flare-up. How are you going to handle that?
Well, I was in a situation like that. Actually, I was in a situation like that. And actually, I tried to handle it by asking her to let's us go try to get ourselves some treatment. And I didn't want her to feel like I was going to take myself to be right and she was wrong.
Right.
But even though it was just say, well, it could have been me. It could have been me. So that's the main thing we have to look at. We just can't point the finger.
Exactly.
We have to, at that time, we have to know where it's coming from. I mean, but now when it gets to be physically, when you get to be past mentally and get to be physically, that's another situation. That's another problem. Whether that person is mentally or not. When it gets to be physically, it's just not no excuse. It's not no fixing. It's like Mr. James said, you do it once, you're gonna do it again. It's not no fixing.
Exactly.
And Ms. Veronica, she just made she says domestic violence comes in many different situations, and then like you just named it, they do come in all type of situations.
Exactly.
And if we have to be, I mean, mostly I'm speaking with the females. I mean, because mostly, I'm gonna say 85% of the time or 90% of the time, men just like to protect themselves. They can protect themselves from it.
Right.
They can make a choice. They can really walk away from it, keep stay into it. But a woman sometimes, female, they just can't just walk away. And they can be threatened. You better not tell nobody. You're not gonna walk away. I mean, and they go through to where that person that got a mentally ill, say you might have mentally ill. Well, guess what? Not only his mentally illness, he's causing her to have a mentally illness, because that is a mentally illness when you have to go through all these types of abuse, these types of abuse.
It's emotional.
Verbal abuse and all this abuse.
that's emotional, and emotional is worse than physical. A bruise can heal, you know. However, when you have your emotions that are interrupted, or you're fearful of this individual, you don't know what's going to be a trigger, what causes him or her to do or become this individual at any given time. You're just walking on eggshells. So what are you supposed to do? I mean, that's why it's something that I would prefer knowing on the front end, whether if it's fearful or not. I know with me, if I had a situation like that, I want to share that with whomever, because I want to give them a legitimate foundation to make a choice, because I don't want it to be something sudden and they disappear.
Yes, and Mr. James is making another good point. I'm seeing a lot of good comments.
They are great comments. But we need to have you answer it, like from a blues standpoint. Like, you're writing the lyrics to songs that are hurtful, that are lots of pain a lot of the time. It's because of relationships that have gone bad, or something that, you know, you've had a choice in it and you chose to be in a space. That's why I'm asking that.
Right.
So, from a music standpoint, where does it come from? You said you had experience in that space, and it was something that you would have if it was a situation that could have been something to prolong or help the relationship along. You would want to get the help. But would you want to know that? Would the decision have been different if you had known on the front end?
Well, that's a warning. Okay, you know, on the front end, that's what you call sense of the warning.
Yeah.
That's a warning.
Yes.
And domestic violence, any type of violence, especially domestic violence, it's always first step. It's a warning, and you can, you know, it's a warning.
Right.
And I mean, you know, it's like, for instance, that person that have something going on, and you're talking about the blues, that person that has something going on the inside.
Right.
You know, that person, if it's a male, that's the first thing he wants to do. He want to go out and drink, try to drink that. Want to drink that down. Then when he drink it, try to drink it down with the blues. Try to drink it down and go to the place, try to drink it. When he get in, that's when he becoming more aggressive. I mean, he coming to be a bit more aggressive.
Right.
I mean, you know, it's like when he drink, the more he drink, the more he think. And the more he think negative than he thinking positive. You know what I'm saying? That's what they call in the blues. I got the blues. I mean, hey, I feel like you done me wrong. I feel like you've been loving somebody else. I feel like you had somebody coming in and out my door. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I'm just speaking in real business, and it's the truth. I mean, it's the blues, but then yet it's still, you know, it's a lot that I'm going back to the females. It's a lot that the females have to go through. Right. And especially domestic violence. I mean, regardless of just being a woman alone. And so if it ain't love there at all, then you see it ain't no love there, you need to move around. If it ain't love there, you need to move around. Because you know, if it ain't no love, it's a problem. If it ain't no love there, it's a problem. You can't make somebody love you, like Jane just said. You can't make somebody love you. You can't make somebody want you, like Miss Veronica said. If they don't want you, you just have to move around. You can't make a person want you. You don't have to want that person if you have to make them want you.
Exactly. You have to work for what you want, you know, if it's that situation. However, like you said, if it's not love there, why are you there? That's the question. What are you there for? And then you have to look at why anybody stays. Like, what are the circumstances that's hindering you to move on? Because it's easier said than done for most. There are some of us who have the strength to pack it up and go. Then there are some who are afraid of leaving because of judgment, because of feeling like a failure. It's different reasons behind that. And that's coming from conversations had from people who were actually in those situations. You know, I say go, you know, like, you know, everybody don't have those daddy conversations where your dad may say to you, if a man looks like he's going to hit you, leave. You know, everybody don't have that in place, you know, from a young girl and growing up. What about the young girls who don't have a father in the home, who don't have that male, you know, role model that can share, you know, vital key information like that to plant that seed in their mind, so whenever they're faced with it, they know what to do. They know how to handle it. You know, I love you, but I gotta go because you hit me or you look like you're going to hit me. Ain't nobody having that. You know, it's easier said than done most times. You know, you have to look at the full scope of the picture and the dynamic and the background of the individuals and how they have become to be in the place where they are. That's what's so heart heavy. And you see women or men, you know, in these situations feeling trapped in it. They're trapped. And the other individual is holding things over their head, you know, and they're fearful to make a step. They're fearful of that. So it's domestic violence, yeah, but at the same time, it all boils down to a choice. And why aren't the choices being made to love yourself more, to be a greater person, even if I'm by myself, even if I have to be on the streets, whatever the case, your life is so much valuable, more valuable than staying with somebody who could potentially kill you, because it usually ends up in something crazy like that. So what would you sing? What would be a lyric from a song that you'd create if you had that type of information and you could write a song that's going to help a woman or a man to move on? I'm giving you a new song tonight. What would you say, Jab?
Okay, you know, mine would be to one spouse to the other one.
Yeah.
You know, they have been said many years, it's supposed to be saying, if you can't do no better, you need to pack your bags and move on. If you can't do no better, you need to pack your bags and move on. Because I'm not going to stay here with you and let you keep on doing me wrong. You know, that just...
I like that song. I like that. See what I'm saying? Giving you juice to new songs, man. I want 10%.
Saying it, and but most of all, you got to mean it.
Mean it. You better mean it. Because you know what I've learned and what I've seen over time, and it's been people that I know, and then there are individuals that I don't know personally. They'll leave and then be gone for a period of time, and then, you know, have that conversation and end up going back. And once you go back, gotcha, you know, they know how to work you now. They know how to play you like that violin. So, you know, in that song that you are now writing, I want 10%, one. And second to that, I want you to also write in this song how when she or he make the decision to move on, stay gone. I mean, people change, yes. Forgive it, yes. But once you go back, it's like you're caught up in the rapture. You know? That is what I'm talking about.
And that's true. And you know, and like I say, to each one, you got to know your worth.
Yes.
You got to know your worth. You got to know your worth. You can't let your self-esteem get low. You can't let what that person say to you, you ugly, you this, you not, you that, and make you feel like nobody else wants you. But
exactly.
You know, that's the first thing they'll do.
Exactly.
They make you feel like nobody else wants you but them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the first thing they work on. They work on your self-esteem. Your self-esteem. They work on that.
Yes.
Okay. So you have to be careful on dropping your self-esteem. You have to be careful on that.
Exactly.
Because if you're not careful on dropping your self-esteem, then you're going to start believing what's going on against you, that you bring it on yourself. He's right. He's right. I'm looking at myself. I look older. I look I don't look the same no more. I don't look attractive no more.
You start believing that. Yes, over time, if you're not careful and not know. So, you do believe it. And then that's when, it's time to pick it up by the bootstraps, because if they ever get you emotionally and get you in your subconscious that way, because once it settles in there and you start believing that, you're not going anywhere. And Dartha Harris says, why a person decides to leave an abusive situation, do not let the abuser know, because they are not going to let you out the door alive. And that is a fear. If, there are some that say, if I can't have you, nobody's going to have you, or they plant that seed in your mind, and they've shown you instances to where you now believe that, and something you have to get help most times if that is the case. Safe places is different things that you have to look at. But when you're caught up in these situations, love yourself enough to know you deserve better than that. How did you get here? Play it back in your mind. When did this happen? What fell apart in my life to where I find this to be cool and acceptable? Because it's never going to be acceptable, ever. It's not.
Well, and that's true. But the main thing Ms. Dartha Harris was saying, and the main thing, is like, and go back to what we were talking about at first.
Right.
If the person have a mentally issue,
right,
he or her have that mentally issue,
right,
and you try to leave, and they say, if you leave, understand me, it's gonna be a problem,
Right.
I want to say this much. At that particular time, you better believe that person. They better not play with your life.
Right.
You better believe it. Especially if they playing with, if they're not playing with a sound mind. If this person is like James said earlier, when they go and they drink and they do things, they get a different spirit. They have a different spirit.
Right.
Right. Like you said, they have a different spirit. And when you get a drinking, you're not in your sound mind nowhere. You're trying to drink yourself into another stage of mind, but then at the same time you putting yourself in a violent spirit. The more you drink, the more you think about it, it just gives you more courage to go back and do what you really wanted to do before you start drinking.
Exactly. That's where the courage comes from, the bottle. It's that type of a thing. And of course, hurt people. If I'm hurting, I want you to hurt too. If I'm suffering, I want you to suffer too. That's the mindset. However, I wouldn't say in the heat of the moment, try to feel like you're gonna, run out of there or whatever the case may be. But if your life is in danger and you have a way to run. But sometimes, you have to be strategic about it and plan it. Plan it when they're not drinking. Plan it when they're not at home. Do it that way. You got to be protecting of yourself. Be careful at all times. However, all of these relationship situations aren't domestic. The majority of things are chosen. You choose that. So we're going to shift gears because it's not all domestic. There are individuals that are in marriages. There are individuals who recently came out of divorce. There are individuals who are single and never been married, wanting to be married. And then you may be of a particular age, anybody over 40, that's back out on these streets and having to date today. It's not like it was 25 years ago. It's a new day.
Well, those type of relationship, Valerie, those type of relationships, I would call them like safe relationship. If y'all agree, both y'all agree that y'all not gonna be able to make it. If both y'all agree that y'all want to go your separate ways, I mean, I think that y'all still be friends and whatever. I think that's a great way to support. Now we talking about something that's something totally different from domestic violence. I mean, it's like, hey, those relationships like that. I mean, it's really not even, it's nothing even really speak on, because y'all agreeing to the same thing. If you agree and that person agrees, saying, okay, well, if you disagree to someone saying, okay, I don't feel like I'm gonna be comfortable in this relationship with you. I feel like, I don't love you like that and enough to proceed in a relationship relationship with you, and that person come back and say, respond to you and say, well, you know what? I appreciate you telling me that because I don't want to be in a relationship, with someone that who don't love me or who can't love me. Right. So we can go our separate. Well, that's real
That's
normal.
Rational thinking.
We're talking about relationship that's not normal.
Yes, that's right. I said you're talking rational. These aren't rational situations, and there could be some
abnormal, unhealthy relationships. You know what I'm saying?
And they're not all that either. Look at it. There's so many different types. The
right.
ones that are mutual, and then we can, go separate ways. That's beautiful when we can do that. But then there are some times when one person wants to go and the other wants to stay, and you have stalker situations. That's something I've been in on more than one occasion. Like, okay, ready to go now. I thought we were in a good place, but now all of a sudden you're having meltdowns. Like, you don't want to let go. This is an issue, especially when you have to bring the authorities in. So you have to think about safety at all times, all the time, because the people that you feel that you do know, you learn that you really don't know. You don't know them at all. And you've been dealing with them for many years. The truth comes out when one wants to leave and the other don't want to let go, even when there are circumstances that warrants it, like clearly. So looking at that, that's why I'm saying, look at the hypotheticals as what they are. And the situation that you may be in, the situation I could be in, you have to really break it apart to see if this is something that's going to be good for you. If it's not good for you, is it toxic? Is it something you can walk away from? And could it be something that's a mutual decision? Those types of things, because you don't know until you're put into that position. And at the end of the day, that's why I mentioned mental health, because mental health is intense. It has a multitude of faces, and there's so many people dealing with it and don't even know they have it. That type of thing. And having sincere conversations, being vulnerable, and knowing that you're putting your heart out here for a reason, and it's not to be played with, and making sure that you're making the right choices to connect with the right individuals, to have these healthy relationships. So, Jab.
Well,
let me tell you, I want to ask you a question. Can I ask you a question?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
You're not attached to anybody, right?
Right.
What do you look for when you're considering someone as an ideal mate? What is criteria for you?
First of all, I have to look like now that I have got wiser and everything, I have to look and see, do this female have any type of past hurt?
Yes.
Is she going through any type of emotion problem, any type of, stressful past hurt from the previous relationship, anything, that she holding on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't care who she get with, the next person she get with, I mean, it ain't gonna probably get through. So my thing is, I want to try to, she need to do just like me or anybody else, just stay there and deal with your situation.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Deal with your situation, because there's no need in trying to jump into a relationship, even if you feel you're not ready. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you feel you're not ready, it's no need. Because, back in the days, and I'm saying back in the days, and I'm saying in my prime time.
Your prime time.
I wasn't ready for, back in my days, I'm old school now. I wasn't ready for no relationship.
Why not?
I mean, you know me.
Why not?
Because I wanted every woman I see. I thought, just feel like that was for me. And I wasn't ready. Because other words, if you're not ready to dedicate yourself to one person,
yeah.
if you're not ready to dedicate yourself into giving the best as a man
mm-hmm.
into that house, and he will be the head of that household, then you're not ready for the relationship.
thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that, because there's so many that are not ready. The men, like you said, you used yourself as example. But then there are some women out here, like I said, they're so eager to be in a relationship that they're ignoring those red flags just like that. So what do you say to the woman who's always trying to pressure the guy? Because there are some, quite a few, may have even dropped into the room. I don't know, may catch this live later. What would you say to the woman who's so eager to chase down a guy, and it's evident that he has clearly said sometimes that he doesn't want this? What do you say to her?
Well, I tell to her, she has to be very, very careful in choosing that man, because first of all, let me say something. It's like someone said earlier, a person that's always in denial is always self-righteous. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They're always saying, I never did that. That person, or he or she, they always were doing this. I mean, and you've been in 4, 5, 6, 7 different relationships, but it's always the other people, it's not you. What's something wrong with that picture? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It got to be something wrong with that picture. Everybody can't be doing the same thing. There's something wrong with that picture. So I would advise female, now, to still think the way I'm thinking. You need to first figure out this person, this man. You need to try to, first of all, you need to communicate with this man and talk more to this man. And then when you're talking, try to understand, see what you can understand what he's saying, and see how he's talking. If he's talking always boasting about himself and always trying to sell himself, that's a problem. Be honestly, that's really a problem. Yeah. Because that was the main thing a person can do. A person would always feel like, and then the next thing, don't be materialistic. Don't be materialistic. Just because a man driving a new car, just because he look good, right, or just because he's clean, whatever, that don't mean his spirit is clean. That don't mean his spirit has got a good spirit.
Say it again.
That don't mean that.
Say that again. Say it again.
Just because this person, male or female, is because they driving a beautiful car, just because they looking good, dressing good, that don't mean the inside is well and good.
That's what the problem is.
You have to be careful on just jumping because something look good. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So when you're materialistic, you have to be careful. When you're materialistic and you know you're very materialistic, that's going to catch you right there. Then you might be getting into one of the most tragic relationships you can get into.
Exactly. He knows how to play your game.
Because those kind of guys, like a lot of those guys, there and women that love to go out and go out there and play that game and get clean and pretty and play that game. You understand me? Know that role. Yeah. You might be a person that's trying to make a difference in your life. You might be a person that's trying to go somewhere else with your life. You might be trying to get your life to God. You might be trying to get your life right and get things right in your life. But then at the same time, if you're materialistic, you know what I'm saying? Then, hey, it doesn't make no difference right now. It doesn't make difference. If you come to me with a pure heart, and I know that your heart is pure and natural, hey, we're on the same page.
Right. Okay. You made valid points on that. Okay. But then what about the one that has a genuine good heart, truly and sincerely want to have a genuine relationship? However, this is the twist. They're jumping in and out of relationships every time you turn around. Probably this year, okay, it's the 11th month. Probably had at least 7 or 8 different relationships in an 11-month period. What are you saying to this person? Because think about it. Now, this is somebody I know. You can have these conversations. They're just not listening, Jab. They're not listening. So what do you say to this woman? It's so many different layers of dynamics of things that I see and hear about every single day that blows my mind. These are women who want relationships so badly. However, if you look in the mirror, take the time, there are so many things that they can be working on for themselves, but opting to get with a man. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, Miss Bill, I'm gonna say that a relationship, a female wanting a male in her life, and a male wanting a female. That's natural. That's natural. That's God natural.
Absolutely.
Because in the beginning of the word, He said that I find it's not good that man should be alone.
Yes.
So that's natural. That's gonna be natural. But the only thing you have to do, you say like Mr. James just said, you know, a man flashes his money and his bling bling and flashes all over the world. He's just the devil. I mean, because he know this he gonna drive. And you know, let me tell you something about you see a lot of the old school guys and with the younger women. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because they the cheapest one. I'm being honest.
Are you serious?
And you see a lot of them because you know what? They rather get their nails done and their toes done and their hair done and they think they done got the world.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I mean, really.
You can't put that on a real woman, though.
Thinking that Paul says in the word, I think like a child. Once I was a child, I act like one.
Yes.
I begin to think like one. You know, so when you put away those things and you don't care about those things no more, you don't care about the materialistic stuff no more.
Right.
You don't care about how good that person can really look because if you actually is a good man or good woman, you can make that person look the way you wanted them to look.
Oh yeah, a Barbie doll. I mean, I had somebody say that to me before. I was trying to do that.
If that person ain't the size you want, say that person overweighted, and you say, "Oh Lord, I don't want that overweighted woman. I don't want that overweight man." Well, guess what? If you got a good heart, you can take that person and help them get on a stricter diet and get them down and put it look really good. Because you're that person with that overweight sometimes, it may be because of their self-esteem, maybe because something going on with making their self-esteem. You know, and once they get you in their life, get some happiness and get some joy, they're gonna be a complete, totally different person.
They will be. They will be. It's just something to consider. And you have a valid point. It's not about materialism and the show. Not about that. It's about connecting with somebody who genuinely wants to be with you and for the right reasons. That's where issues and things like this fall short. But when you have one person that's constantly on patrol to meet someone, and every time you turn around, this is the one, I've met the one. To me, you haven't had time to heal. You haven't had time to even discover who you are authentically as an individual. So if you don't know who you are, how can you sincerely connect with anybody at all? You can't. You can't, because you're going to continue to make those same mistakes. You're going to continue to choose the individuals that are the worst for you. When they see you coming and they understand that you are so excited and so eager to be in a relationship, it paints a negative, image for yourself.
And as we speak, Ms. Miller, I want to say this.
Yes.
In a lot of homes, we talk about the man being abused.
Yes.
We talking about the women being abused, right?
Yes.
But we're forgetting about when we're going through these things, the kids get more abused than you get.
They do.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, they do.
Because for instance, if you got a teenage son and the father is fighting on you and calling you out your name and all that son don't grow up and think that's all right.
Right.
He gonna grow up and think that that's okay.
Right.
If you got a daughter and the mama understand me is going out and dressing a certain way, acting a certain way with it, she gonna probably think that's okay. That's good. That's good. Mm-hmm. So the thing it is right now, we need at a certain point in life. This is what I'm saying. At a certain point in life, it's time out for carrying on. And it's start time to be a role model. It's time for us to try to be a role model. Someone to be a role model. It's time for us to stop running around out there trying to find these broken down relationships and whatever. It's time for us to understand me to. It's time for us to understand me to grow up ourselves so we can let our grandkids or kids or whatever the case may be, let them come up and see us coming up, niece, nephew, let them see us coming up in a very respect. Even if you got to do it by yourself. If you're living by yourself, you're doing it by yourself. When I leave when I leave home, and I've been with myself 3 years or so. When I leave home, I try to leave home and I'm dressing myself. And I try to look well and well dressed and groomed. I know how to put my clothes in cleaners. I know how to keep my clothes washed. I know how to keep my stuff groomed and clean. So you know, you can never tell I will do without a lady. But the thing about it, you know, you have to learn. You have to learn to live with it or live without it. Whichever one's gonna work, because you don't want to live with it if you got to live with all the confusion, with all the chaos and all that jealousness and all that low self-esteem. Because when you that's what's called bad relationship. Low self-esteem and jealousness is what tears up a house. It tears up a house. Because you cannot live with a jealous man or a jealous woman, and you cannot live with that. You cannot do it.
You are 100% right, and I agree with that. It's time to, you know, kind of reflect back on self, and sometimes it is the best outcome when you choose yourself and to be by yourself, because you know if you continue to choose and make those mistakes continually, it's going to eventually affect your mindset. It's going to affect your self-esteem to where you are going to start believing something that's simply not true. So take a break sometimes, especially in between relationships, and you know it was something that kind of gone left, and you know in your heart of hearts that you knew this all along, but you stayed anyway. So it's time to repair those types of situations and really look deeply within yourself to make the corrections before you get into another one, to have that same repeated cycle. You eventually want to have something amazing. That's the whole point of you doing it all. But you can't gather or meet someone amazing when you're so broken and deteriorated on the inside yourself. So have those mirror moments and say, this is what I want, and have those deal breakers. These are the things I'm not willing to accept. And the only way you're going to come up with those things is spending time by yourself. And like Jab's saying, go out sometimes, have a good time, get beautified or doll up or masculine yourself up. Go out and have a good time by yourself. I've done it and will do it right now. I enjoy going out by myself. If I can't go out by myself and have the most fabulous time, what makes you feel like you can go out with somebody else and they're going to show you a greater time than you can show yourself? You know, it's different ways of looking at that. Look at and just tear your relationships apart if it's not looking the way you know it could look. Ask yourself the hardest questions in the world and pray about receiving the answers, the ones that only God can give you. And when he show you, believe it, and then make the changes, and then see that you would have something different to come from that after that. But you're right, when you bring up kids, the children are the ones that are getting the downside. And for the ones that are in the house and mama or daddy puts all that focus on an individual and putting your babies aside, wake up and stop putting your kids aside for a man or a woman, because they're the ones that are going to be the most hurt in the end, and you're putting your focus on the wrong things. So what is your response to that, Jab? That mama who puts the baby aside, and then when old boy is now gone, you abuse your children, or you take it out on the kids because he left, or he didn't call you today, or he didn't respond to a text message. How do you respond to that?
Because that's another thing to say. Be careful who you're choosing in your life as your woman or your man. Right. Because if you get a man in your life, why would you want to choose a man in your life that don't have no sort of income, that don't have no job? Why do you want to choose a man in your life, understand me, to come in your life, and you know just because you look just the way you like how you look, and why would you want to choose him into your life? He don't even have an income. Study income. Why would you want to choose him into your life? And another thing I want to say. Me speaking of God a while ago.
Yes.
I want the ladies and gentlemen too. I want to stop thinking because someone get up Sunday morning and go to church that person is a saved person. Oh, that's why I want that person. That's a church woman. That's a church man. Because even though they're going to church on Sunday and the blues say doing the same thing again on Monday. So you have to be careful.
That's a point.
On your picking and choosing, you got to be careful. You say you go to church on Sunday and you go do the same thing on Monday. You don't do nothing you say. Every day you don't get on your knees and pray. Back in the days, there was signs through music. And people don't, if you look at way back in the days when they were working in the fields, they had a way of making signs through music. They would say, they would go to singing in blues or old hymns, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. That was a sign right there.
Yes, it is.
You want to come out, he's singing because he's tired. He really is tired. He wants to come out that field. He's tired. You know what I'm saying? I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And so these signs is always a sign, and especially that's why I love to stick close to the blues, because blues really is the music that have some great lyrics to it. And when B.B. King was singing, B.B. King saying, now that you got me, you act like you ashamed. You don't act like my woman. You just want to use my name. I'm telling you, I'm going to handle all the money, and I don't want no back talk, because you don't like the way I'm doing. You can get your things and walk. You got to be crazy. Well, see, that's what I mean, you get your things and walk. I mean, those blues. Saying something.
Yes.
It does. You know what I'm saying?
Music isn't the same anymore. Blues is. But, other genres of music have changed. The tone has changed. The messages have changed. It's embarrassing and a shame, because the messages that used to be so prominent are now lost. Calling women out of their names. It's not that they love the women anymore.
Mr. J.
Yes, but I'm so serious. It's so much, and these different types of situationships, the acceptance of non-committal relationships, and you just hanging out when time permits, or those types of things. That is a big situation today. I don't want to be with you, but we can hang out sometimes. Look at that. It's never going to be cool or kosher when it comes to me and a certain woman. If you are a woman, a true lady in essence, you're not going to accept that. However, I'm seeing a lot of women in their 40s and 50s that are accepting these situationships. That's intense, Jab.
Well, the thing it is, I'm reading with Mr. James. He makes some good points. Mr. James Caldwell makes some good points.
James always make great points.
He said a lot of these women like to be called out their name. Simple reason, Mr. James, I believe they love to be called out their name. A lot of them accept that and want to be called out their name. It's because they have been through this abuse so long. They feel like that's a part of their love. That's a part of their life.
I don't know. I'm gonna go against that. I'm going against that. No woman likes to be called out of her name. Not a one.
Well,
I'm saying.
Mr. James say they do.
No, I'm not gonna let y'all. No, you are James. I'm not gonna let y'all do that, because every woman do not. No, Jab.
When you got rappers up there talking about.
That's what I'm about to say.
Come on now.
That's what I'm about to say. I'm going to confront that, because they don't like it. They find it to be endearing. They've taken the word that's so derogatory and made it okay to say on the streets. However, the only way you're going to stop that derogatory is if you don't answer to it. There are younger women. I'm talking about that 40-year-old plus women that's accepting that type of behavior, because they're wanting to attract those types of individuals as far as dating. They feel like they have to conform and exchange who they are in identity to be able to get a date. That's what I'm saying. It's never going to be okay for you to call me a B ever. Anytime a woman or man say that to me, I correct it on the spot. Oh no, I'm not her. You can't address me as that. You will not, I'm not allowing you. to address me that way. My name is Valerie. You can call me Valerie. You can call me your girly girl. You can call me your girlfriend or whatever. Something that's respectful. But what I'm not going to allow is you calling me something derogatory like that. It's not liked by mature women. Now, you may have young women that accept that. And for whatever reason, they call each other all that. It doesn't look good. It's not becoming, and it's ultimately disrespectful. So they allow that because that's what they're used to. Now I'm going to pass the torch back to you so you can finish it, because it is a part of that rap game. It's a part of that identity, that life is that thing. So you can pick it up from there. So I can see your point from that point. But a woman liking that? No, we don't. Go ahead, Jab. I'm done.
My thing is, back to Mr. James' question again. I'm gonna answer that one more time, because see, Miss Valerie, every female, not you.
No, I'm saying a woman.
There are some females. There is some females, and they're not all young. They, have accepted that in their life. And when we're talking about abuse, we're talking about verbal abuse and physical abuse. They both exist. So you can't stop either one. When you got somebody that's very aggressive, you cannot stop them. You can't stop them.
We're not talking an abuse situation. This is on the street, everyday conversation.
We're talking about domestic abuse, and we're talking about all that. We talking about abuse, and we can't stop. That's what I'm saying. He was talking, when he's speaking on, that thuggish lifestyle. He talking about that thuggish lifestyle. You got all type of age of women do life.
Yes, and that's what we were talking about. The acceptance, not about abuse. That's not abuse. That's what somebody accepts and saying.
Yeah, that's abuse. That's abuse. Acceptance. When you call someone at their name and you downgrade them at their name, that's abuse.
When you allow it, you got the power to change it. Every woman who accepted, she got the power that very moment to change the direction of that conversation.
Not really. No, ma'am. Not really.
Yes, it is.
No, ma'am, not really. Because the same way that the man, you can't stop him from hitting on you and fighting, you got domestic violence, can't stop. It come in verbal and it come in physical. So you can't stop.
I know that. We're talking about two total different circumstances. It's been too many times. It's been said, and I stopped it. It's all about how you respect yourself and carry yourself, conduct yourself. Is how somebody call you that. When you let it be known, and you clear about it, it won't continue. Because you're going to also think about the spaces that you're in, the types of conversations that you're having and who you're having it with. If that's your lane, then that's something expected from that. But for those women, and it's a difference between women and a lady than young girls that accept this type of behavior. It goes back into alignment. So acceptance, it depends on the mindset of the individual. It can be changed if you choose to change it. And it's too many women that I do know. It's not about me at all. This platform ain't about that. It's about getting the awareness out that change comes when you make the changes that are necessary. Standing up and not accepting. There are some that are accepting and don't have a voice to stand up to change it. But there are some of us that are. And so until you build the numbers of the ones that are, then the ones who are being disrespected will continue. But like I said, there are females that I see and know constantly using that B word. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not her. You don't know, boo-boo, you can't talk to me like that. You need to stop that. Guess what? It does not happen again, because you are tried until you make the change. If I had let that slide the first time, then they will try it the next time. But if it's tried to you once and you correct it the first time, it will not continue. No, it won't. And then think about the people that you're associating with and where you're hanging out. That makes a difference. And if it comes to that, if you're dating men or you're in the places of where these men are, then you're going to attract that. Change your mindset. Know who you are, what you want, what you're looking for, the decent things in your life. When you do that, then you'll get more of what you're looking for. But if you're putting yourself in those spaces and these people are out here and you allow them to disrespect you, then you're going to get more of that boomerang effect. You throw it out, you're going to get the same thing. If you want it changed, you catch that boomerang, make the speech, then you toss it back out. That's all I'm saying, Jab.
Well, my thing is saying, I understand what you're saying, but I'm going to say this in real good and strong. I'm going to say this as good and strong as I can.
Say it.
Okay. There are some women, listen to me good. There are some women, I want to express this, okay? There are some women that doesn't have any choice whatsoever. Let me tell you something. I'm in the Texas area.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, let me tell you this.
I respect it.
You can be in here, let me tell you about the Texas law. I don't know about the law where you at, but you can be here, and you and your spouse can be in the house and going at it. And then all kind of names and everything come, and you call, and she called the police. When the police come knock on the door, and they say, you got somebody call me, say, yeah, he throwing things around, cussing me out, calling me all kind of names. Well, you know what the police gonna say over here? Well, ma'am, we can't do nothing about that. Nobody ain't been hurt. Anybody got any weapons or anything? No, but not, they're not considering that the mouth is being a weapon. See, that's why I say that's where the physically abuse starts from. It starts from the verbal abuse. The verbal is verbal before it comes physical. You see what I'm saying? It comes verbal before it comes physical, and there's a lot of going to and from that's running, and the law is putting them up for safety, for their lives.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. It's a lot of, because, you know, and it can't walk around free. You can't walk free. You can't just do like you said. You can't just say, I want out of this. I'm gone. I'm through with this.
It's not that easy.
Some just can't. They don't have it like
that. It's not that easy.
Some of them wish it was that easy. Some of them do. They wish it was that easy. And it wouldn't be so much of physical abuse, because actually the verbal abuse started before physical abuse too.
Absolutely. And we've already talked about that. But that wasn't the question that I asked originally. It kind of surfaced back to it. We've already touched base on the verbal abuse, and it's that type of thing. It's worse in verbal situations. I'm talking about women who choose to go out here, men who choose to go out here and conforming themselves, knowing this isn't their identity, but they're changing their behaviors to mimic or match what society is presenting today, just for the sake of having a relationship. It's not valid. It's not true. It's not authentic, because that's not what you sincerely want. But rather than taking the time to be on your own or by yourself and working on yourself, being patient in it to really meet someone who deserves you or would enjoy you, you're taking yourself off the market, settling in something that's not going to bring you joy or bring you any good in your life. So therefore, the person you could potentially be with, they're not made available to you now, because you booed up with somebody who is not going to be good. That could end up in verbal abuse, that could end up in physical abuse, that could end up in emotional mental health situations, to where your self-esteem is so beat down to where you don't even value yourself anymore. You're second guessing yourself, and then you lose all hope when it comes to love. And it goes back to making that very first choice of settling in something, accepting something that doesn't feel good in your heart. That's what I'm talking about. It goes back to the choice. The outcome is, by making the choice, is all of those things that you mentioned. That's where I was going with it. But it's about making the right choices on the front end. It's so hard for women of particular ages, and men too, because it's a lot of guys that I know that are having a tough time meeting valuable, good, genuine individuals. Now what, Jab? What are you going to say to that, my dear?
Well, my thing is that a lot of women and men have forgot their worth. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Have forgot their worth. Yes. A lot of them have gave up on true love.
True.
A lot of them feel like, I done got to beyond the point now. I can't get no true love no way. No more true love for me no more. A lot of them have got to the point they let their lives competition. They consider this competition to get it that way. Right. But let me say something to you. You know, it's somebody for everybody. I mean, I'm talking about good somebody.
Yeah.
But what we need to do, men and female, what we need to do is stop rushing ourselves into these hurry up relationships.
Yes.
Stop rushing into these hurry up relationships.
Right.
You don't need them that bad. You need love, but you want your true love, so you don't need love that bad.
Exactly.
That you have to rush into that relationship.
Exactly.
So the thing it is, I mean, this was a person, once again, going to the church. Mm-hmm. Okay, you have to make sure and notice that person and make sure that he are dedicated. See, the things that I've done in my past, and I was living that wretched life. Yeah. I was out there living that street life. Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. In 1998, I didn't change my ways. I was delivered from my ways. You understand?
Okay,
I was delivered. I was totally tired. I was totally tired of my own, sick and tired of my own self. See, so that meaning that I had to lay it down, and I wanted to be different. I didn't want. I mean, he was like, I'm doing myself more harm than I'm doing everybody else. And
that's
it's
true.
Like, and but I thought it was cool. But when finally it wasn't cool, that you were gonna be a fool. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And I wanted to. Okay, Lord, I give up. So let me tell you something. No, I could never stop being that person that I was. But I had to be delivered. That's when you have to find out from a person that you're dealing with.
That's right.
You tell you, I done stopped smoking cigarettes, or I done stopped this. No, you got to. If they say that, no. If I've been delivered from that,
Thank you.
You know they truly been delivered. You can define that they truly have been delivered.
You can believe that.
Because you know why? Because every time you talk to them, they're going to be talking about the Lord. You heard me? They're going to be happy to talk about God. But you ain't going to tell me you delivered. You ain't going to tell me you just stopped doing all that evil stuff, but yet you still out there running around getting drunk. You out there getting high. You out there talking noise. You ain't going to sell me that.
That's right.
So that's why I'm going to continue to be by myself. You ain't going to tell me you're a good woman when you out there and somebody look around you with Tom, Harry, and John. You're not going to tell me that. Because if you was a good woman, then guess what? You going to stay to yourself like you said earlier and wait till God give you that right mate.
That's right.
You hear me?
That's right.
You hear me?
You got in your tone. I mean, you went there, Jabo. You pressed that red button. Because it's so true.
It really excites me.
It's passion.
That's why Miss Brooks, self-love.
That's self-love.
What she said makes a lot of sense. Self-love.
Yeah.
Self-love is an important type of love. You got to love you first, and that's where it comes from. You got to say it first. When I was running out there, I gave myself an example. Because my life, it's not perfect now, and it's never been perfect, but I give myself an example. Because you know what? It's not like she said earlier, Miss Brooks. Don't judge nobody, point your finger at nobody else, because I'm not going to judge till I point your finger. But I'm going to start with Jabo. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
I knew that I was out there in that Richard Black, and let me tell you, it ain't a pretty thing to get there and tell the world on social media that I was a wretched man in the days. It ain't a pretty thing to say that. You know what I'm saying? Yes. But let me tell you something. If I don't have no friend when I get to sit with this interview, but God, guess what? He said, better than me be with you in the whole world against you. So I'm glad to say that, hey,
that's a mic drop. That's a mic drop. Because, if you're not passionate about the status of your life, embracing who you are as an individual, knowing your worth of who you want to be with, you can imagine this person. God has been dealing with you and your own issues. Until you rectify your own issues, love yourself wholeheartedly and know that you are a whole individual, not half, not 50%, 30%, 75%, but fully whole of yourself. Whole when it comes to God. You have that relationship. You trust God with every step of your decisions, especially in your personal relationships, the people that you include in your life. When you choose to include somebody, make sure they're worth it. Make sure they're worthy of you and all that work you put into yourself. When it comes to self-love, it takes time to invest in yourself to become as amazing as you are. And you are. You've put in some diligent work You've done it. You've been delivered from so many things. And now you have that relationship with God. Why would you bring somebody in who's Satan himself and to tear it all apart in a split second? Because you don't want to wait. Just wait. It's worth it. You're worth it. And if that person can't love you and you can't say that you can love them genuinely, you're not ready. You're not ready, nor are you qualified. And if you're not qualified for the relationship, don't do it.
I'm hot. I'm on fire now, Miss Miller.
I hear it. It's in your voice.
I said, I'm on fire now. I'm hot. Let me say this. I'm on fire now. I'm hot now. You don't got me crunked up now. Let me say this here. I'm on fire now. Jabo hot now. I'm on fire. Let me tell you this now. Let me tell you something. Male and female. Let me tell y'all. First, right now, I'm back to female. Let me tell you something. A man ain't got to be in the house with you to treat you like you're a lady.
Yes.
First of all, let me tell you this now. If he ain't got to be in the house with you to treat you like you're a lady. Because that starts outside the house when you first start meeting.
Okay.
It starts outside the house.
Break it down.
You don't have to be in the house with you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To treat you like a lady. He started treating you like a lady the day he meet you. And from that point on, when he's out there, you over at your place, he in his place, he's treating you like a lady. That's giving you more great of a sign.
Right.
Don't wait till he get there. Don't wait till you well, when we get together, he come in, we start shacking up, and he gonna treat me, he gonna treat me. No. He got the constant. He got to be constant, consistent.
Yeah.
It can't be today, I'm going to be real nice today. Tomorrow, I got things on my mind. I don't feel like it today. I mean, that's not consistent. That's not consistent. Love don't stop. Love is an ongoing thing. Love do not stop.
It does not. And it doesn't take a lot either. But when you start showing your true colors, and like you said, consistency, if it's not consistent, be mindful of that. Pay attention to those inconsistencies, what he or she is saying versus that action, and if the action is mirroring the words. So make sure of those types of things. Now, Robin Manuel saying, once you find yourself and you're free, the test comes. You got to pass the test and stay committed to God until he brings that mate that he has for you. That's right. And sometimes we fail that test. But like Jab said, it looks good, it shines, and it smells good. He's cute, or she's a cutie pie, or whatever. And then you just kind of fall into it. Well, God sent me my gift. Oh my goodness, I got it. Oh my gosh, I think I found the one. And just hearing those words, I found the one. It's not about you as a woman finding. That's already out of order. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. So if that's what you're seeking, let him find you, because he's now gone through the process of being prepared for you. And while he's in the process of that, why not prepare yourself? So when you do meet and you cross paths, then it's inevitable. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to put 2 and 2 together to make 4. I'm just saying, Jab. It's so much. It's so much. But anything worth having takes work. It takes work. And at the end of the day, if you're not willing to put in the work, you're not ready. And again, you're not qualified. So it's a number of things that you have to ask yourself to make sure that you're qualified for any type of a relationship. When you're already in it and you're married, that's one thing. And you work on that. However, when you're not married and you're seeking, what are you doing to better yourself? To make sure that you meet this person and you're prepared without issue. You can speak confidently about yourself. You're bold enough to share, you know what, I've been depressed, I've gone through this, I've gone through those types of things. When the time comes, because sometimes you can speak too soon. Jab, now I'm going to say this. When is too soon to share some things that are a little too personal? When is too soon? When will you consider too soon?
Well, And when you try to say something that's really personal,
mm-hmm.
too soon is important. Too soon are very important.
Yeah.
Because some people take your how would I say it? Some people take your hurts
mm-hmm.
and make a joke out of it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you're trying to find someone that you can open up to,
right.
and confide to within. But they can take that and put it out there in the open and make a joke and make a big thing out of, you know.
Right.
And when you, so that the thing is, you have to be careful on that too, because you have to really, anything you're doing it with another person, you got to be careful on who you're dealing with.
Exactly.
You have to be careful.
Exactly.
You have to be careful.
Because you don't know. You don't know.
You don't know. Right.
And it's like, oh my gosh, why in the world did you do that? Why did you say that?
Everybody's not happy for you. Right. Everybody is not concerned about you. Everybody don't care and love you that way.
Right.
So you see, you know, just because people can come by with the worldly love and try to give you that worldly love, right, and beat you that worldly love, and you step in that worldly love, no, it ain't time to start opening it up yet. You have to wait and make sure, you know what I'm saying,
who are you dealing with? This. Right. I said, who you're dealing with, you need to know that.
Right.
Because I know sometimes, you know, you get excited and feel like, okay, this is the one. I want to go ahead and share this with her. I want to share this with him, and it's too soon. And that person don't know you well enough. And now you've given them that avenue to kind of back up off of you, or to now become standoffish or even ghost you. So you have to be careful and knowing when the right time is to share whatever. Anything that can cause them to shy away, be mindful of when you share that. Make sure that they've proven themselves to be someone that you can share something so intimate with. You know, you just don't want to share it with anybody. But timing is everything. I'm not saying the first week or the first 2 weeks. No, you haven't vetted that person yet. You really haven't. Give it some time. Spend actual time. And I don't mean text messages. I mean time on the phone and actual time spent together. Spending time. So you can have that discernment when it comes to them. That's when you're going to know, when discernment allows you to share. Those types of things. But let's be mindful not to share too much of our private lives too quickly with a perfect stranger that you just met. Those types of things, because there's no guarantee they're going to be there for a long period of time. However, you shared something very intimate that they could, like Jabo say, could use against you. Don't give them the ammunition to do that when you haven't even gotten the okay to feel comfortable with them just yet. Now, Jab.
Okay.
You know we've gone over. You know we've gone over an hour. We've gone over an hour. Go ahead and say what you're going to say.
We're going to say good night. We're going to say good night.
No, say what you have to say. Because you know how we do. We talk a lot offline.
Well, anyway, I think Mr. Jane Caldwell, Miss Veronica, Miss Harris, yes. I think everybody, Miss Brooks, I think everybody that came on and really gave us a lot of good feedback. We had a lot of good feedback, and I was reading. That's what I'm doing, taking a lot of time reading a lot of the feedback. And that's what we have to do in a relationship. Take your time and listen to what the conversation is about. Yes. It's no good. It ain't gonna do us no good to get up here and talk conversation if we're not getting nothing out of it. If we're not paying no attention, we just get picking it for a joke. It's not doing us no good, you know. And so we really have to try to get what we can about it. What's meant to be good, let's take it and apply it to what's good. You know what I'm saying? And so my last remarks, and to men and to women, you know, first of all, I want to say the good things to the good men. Keep being a good man. Yes. Regardless if you don't find it. If you haven't found that Miss Right yet, just keep on being that good man. Don't give up on being that good man, because that Miss Right is gonna come along sooner or later. And I believe that, and I'm quite sure all good men believe that you don't have it yet. And if you have her already, then treat her good, treat her right, make her feel good about herself, make her feel happy, let her know how beautiful she is every day. Keep on letting her know. Even when she go down, women will go through some things and we may not understand. But yet and still, we still have to say, I'm with you, I love you. Because that's the same way Jesus do with men and women.
Absolutely.
He will never leave you, will not will I forsake you. And that's what we have to do when we love our spouse. We can't leave them in a situation. We can't leave them in circumstances. We can't leave them, understand me, in any kind of way. We just have to love them in spite of it. We hurt on the inside.
Right.
We feel like we're going through something.
Exactly.
Guess what? We got to continue on loving that spouse. We got to love them, and we got to show that love.
From both sides.
Like James said, everybody needs love.
Everybody needs it. We all want it. We live for it. We are looking for it. We wake up in the morning thinking about it. It doesn't change. God created us to love, be love, exude love, show love. You have to be that in order to receive it the way you can imagine it to be. So unless you're working on yourself to become your greatest, how can you present it to someone else that you're expecting to take it from? You can't receive it from someone unless you're able to give it to them. Just like you're saying from the male's point of view, that you're all of this and how you're willing to stand and be there regardless of the situation. The women have to do the exact same thing. I can't say it enough. We're always talking about these 5 love languages or whatever. Well, I'm, this. I am, quality time. And I am, I like gifts, or I need this or that and the third. To me, forget about it. Be all 5 love languages. If you can be all 5, then both of the bases are covered on both sides. Stop picking and choosing what you expect or need from somebody else and you're not willing to give it. If you can't give it, don't ask for it. That's the way I look at it. Love has no beginning or end. It's true. God loves us ultimately. So until we understand what true love is and can walk that out every single day, can you even handle it once you get it? Do you know what to do with it now that you have it? Are you going to sabotage it? Or are you truly going to fall in it and embrace it? That's what I'm saying to everyone in this room, who's dropped in this room, who's going to be dropping into this room. And you start by loving yourself. Until you authentically love yourself the way God loves you, then it's not feasible for you to even extend that love to anybody else. Because when you can, you will, without sabotage, without hurting somebody else intentionally. You are really going to take the time to get to know yourself, to be your greatest self when you are found. That's all I'm going to say about that, Jab. And we can go on forever and a day. We can. Now,
yes,
I haven't forgotten your promise. You know what you promised. You forgot? No, you didn't.
No, but my sister ain't hooked up now, so we had to come on the phone, so that makes it a little different, you know what I'm saying?
You've been belting out notes throughout the whole show. You can't just sing a song? You're not going to have me and these Sparrows and all of your followers on here for an hour and a half and think you're going to get off the line and not do some type of a tribute.
Hold on. Give me a minute. Let me try to hook this up here. So I want to give them a song that I'm getting ready to record. I'm recording right now.
Okay.
I had to get this out quick. I got a new CD already out, but